Good morning, friends. Thanks for being here with us this morning. This is Journey Home Meditation, and you're listening to the morning sit. This morning, we're going to have a little bit of breathing, some meditation practice, some contemplation, probably a little poetry. I'm Michael, and I am happy to be here. All right. Let's just settle ourselves in just for a few breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Find any place that you may be holding on to breath or to tension. And on the out breath, focus on the feeling of the breath leaving the body and allow that to be the tension leaving the body, and allow that to be the release that is going to open you to receive. Okay. I'm glad that you're here sharing this practice with me. I know that it can sometimes feel like we're doing this thing alone, whatever it may be. And as much as we consciously know, as much as our thinking mind knows and will give advice to others that, you can't do it alone, just reach out, I'm here for you. We say this to each other, but each one of us, I know that I do, and I know that many people I have spoken with do this inner game of falling back into a belief that we are alone, that for some reason we should be able to do this without reaching out, without bothering anyone or being a burden. And I'm just so grateful that you have decided to not do this alone, because it is when we are coming together to share our burdens that our burden becomes less. And when we share our love becomes more. So I'm grateful when I can remember to step outside of my fearful mind, that fearful mind that is still stuck maybe in feelings of abandonment or feelings of rejection as a child, or as an adult. Uh, you know, this existence that we have, it's funny, as I'm speaking, my eyes wandered onto a pad with a note for me to remind me of something today, and it says deposit is the first word, and I was just going to use that word, and I'm not sure if I read it first or if I but we have a tendency to deposit experiences sort of into a bank, a memory bank, or we hold it in our body. And of course, many people caught on to at least the phrase, the body keeps the score. And a large number of those people read the book by Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score, which talks about the way that we hold memory in our body. And it's interesting because I have this sort of like a file folder, to use modern metaphors, right? Like I have a folder that I store away different lines of thought, and then I come back to them. I sit and I contemplate things for a while, and I think, oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Maybe I'll take a note on my phone or in my notepad. Oh yeah. Write that down. Write that down. That sounds good. That makes sense. That solves the problem. There it is. I figured it out. Great. I can move on. And then I stumble upon them and I'm like, whoa, wow. Well, there's one side of it. That's certainly an idea. But I was thinking about, well, there's a few lines of thought going now, but I'll go just with what's most fresh for me. I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. Yesterday, my son Finn and uh, his now husband Owen were legally married, and it's our families, Owen's family, the Dwyer family, and our family, the Franklins. We have had this relationship because of these two amazing beings for 6 years now, and this is just such a joyous step in the path of our relationships, and of Finn and Owen's relationship and of their life. And for me, there is the joyful sorrow of shift and of change. There is that. One of the students in my poetry class calls it a beautiful sorrow. There's a beautiful sorrow when we are shifting in our roles. As a parent, I've parented this human being through, from birth to infancy to toddlerhood to childhood, um, through all the shifting and changing. And it's just been such an amazing thing to be able to be so closely related to and so closely connected to this relationship, this connection with another human being. And now to move into the next layer of that, my son is moving forward, moving out of the home, moving, into new relationships and new experiences that my egoic mind, my ego wants to say that, well, that's not going to include me. That doesn't include me anymore. I'm not included. But that's a mistake. That's a mistake. And I think that this is kind of a place where a lot of our deep sorrows come with death, with loss in general, loss of a job, loss of a relationship. We feel like part of it is our ego may feel like I'm no longer a part of this connection or a part of this life. So what does that make me? That makes me less. They're no longer a part of my life. So that's something that I've lost. But I was sitting with this and I started to remember no. Uh, Everything that we do becomes a part of us. We deposit it in our body, right? We become sort of the footprint left by all that uh, forms us. So I am forever a part of my son's life. And now, all of that, as he's moving on, it's not like we're not going to be connected. We are, but there is a shift. There is that shift. Um, I'm no longer going to have influence or be there for all of the little moments and be the shoulder that he cries on or the first one he text messages when something happy happens. But that's not necessarily true either. And more importantly, everywhere I go, I carry him with me. I carry that child, I carry that infant, I carry that adult, I carry that teenager, I carry that love. More than any of those moments in time or those snapshots of who I think a person is or who I think I am to a person, I carry that love. And that love goes into every relationship I have. And I think that he carries my love, the love with me that we shared. And that's going to go into every relationship in the world that he has. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. The way that we create these footprints, these impressions in the clay of existence. You know, um, it's those impressions where we can fill that space that's left. We are empty space, but our shape has been made by those who have impressed upon us. And that's something I think about a lot. I think about what it is that I'm holding, what impressions I'm holding that form my shape. And are they not useful just because I don't prefer them? I think about the difficult impressions that have been made upon me. And just because the impression is there, does that mean I have to store my beliefs in that space, that little nook and cranny? So, do I have to believe that I'm alone in this because I had a fear of that and I had some evidence pointing towards that at one point in my life when I was unable to see all of my connections to every living thing? Uh, but I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that, like the way we impress upon each other and how that shape that we take. I heard somewhere, I think it was Pete Holmes, the comedian Pete Holmes was talking about God. Pete Holmes often talks about God. And he remarked that he learned from someone else that maybe God is the blanket that we throw over all of existence to give it a shape. The blanket we throw over all of existence to give it a shape. Like when a ghost wears a sheet, right? Just so you can see it. Maybe that's what it is. We create this sheet, this blanket to place over this ethereal thing so we can take shape. And we do that with our belief, we do that with our experiences, we do that. All of those things would have no shape that was discernible. It would be all a part of the oneness of existence. But the shape that we give it is the blanket of our bodies, our lives. This is the shape of us. This is the shape of who I am. When I see in the mirror, when you see in the mirror, when we look at each other, these are the shapes that we have. The blanket that we throw over it to give it shape. Thank you, Pete Holmes. But really, sometimes what we're doing is we're taking all of these things and we're attaching specific meaning, which means that we aren't just understanding, yes, yeah, that's life. Like, see that thing there holding that baby, that's life. You see that there, the argument that you had in the car on the way home from the grocery store, that's life. You see the accident that you passed by on the way home and you paused for a moment to say a quiet prayer just under your breath for whoever's in that car. But you're praying for whoever's in that car, but mostly you're just saying, thank you, it wasn't this car. Thank you, it wasn't me. And if it is your car, you're praying for anything but this. All those moments. That's life. And we give it shape. And the shape we ascribe meaning. But sometimes the thing that we do with that is we also ascribe bias. Yeah. If this means that, then it can't mean this other thing. So this means this, and I like this. This means that, and I don't like that. We have a way about us. I think sometimes it's just my identity, my mind identity, trying to be relevant, be the most important function of my body. I'm a thinking being, I think, therefore I am. I really, sometimes I go, I think I am. I don't know. I think so. But all this is, I guess, to say, when we impress upon each other what we impress upon each other and what we have impressed upon us can stay with us or can be released by us. And either way, you're still made of the same lump of clay that you were before. You're just maybe shaped a little different. We keep molding our experiences around this thing. I heard a poem this morning on my way in, on my commute. And of course, it stood out amongst, I don't know, the maybe 15 or 20 poems that I heard. I'm listening to some audiobooks, and I have Many Miles by Mary Oliver. And I have a version of it where Mary Oliver is reading the poems, which it's my favorite thing, is when I can hear a poet read their poems. But this poem was one of those things. It stood out to me because it informed all of the thoughts that I'm already currently having. It informed my bias. So I think I'll play it now. This is Lilies Break Open Over the Dark Water by Mary Oliver. And I don't have the copyright to this, so I'm just showcasing it for educational purposes.
The lilies break open over the dark water. Inside that mud hive, that gas sponge, that reeking leaf yard, that rippling dream bowl, the leeches flecked and swirling broth of life, as rich as Babylon. The fists crack open and the wands of the lilies quicken. They rise like pale poles with their wrapped beaks of lace. One day they tear the surface, the next they break open over the dark water. And there you are on the shore, fitful and thoughtful, trying to attach them to an idea, some news of your own life. But the lilies are slippery and wild. They are devoid of meaning. They are simply doing from the deepest spurs of their being what they are impelled to do every summer. And so, dear sorrow, are you.
Well, and so, dear sorrow, are you. I love, just to tie it in even more. Uh, Angela and I were discussing. We have a small pond at the bottom of our hill that was put into place by the person who previously lived where we are, that built a home that we live in, Dudley. And we for years we've just kind of we don't really know what to do with it. What do you do with it? We got to do something with everything, but really the issue is that the pond is growing vegetation a lot, and then we get a lot of mosquitoes. It becomes this great habitat for mosquitoes, but we don't have a lot of the other beings that like to feast upon mosquitoes. So we've been talking about how to do that, and then we were talking about maybe we could put things into the pond that would help encourage that relationship. Things like um, placing lily pads or lotus blossoms, and we were talking about those things, and it's just funny that this comes up this morning because we were just having that conversation last night. But that line, they are simply doing from the deepest spurs of their being what they are impelled to do every summer. And so, dear sorrow, are you. It's amazing. Remember that your sorrow, your happiness, your joy, your um, indecision, all of these things are just doing what they are meant to do. But in that, there might not even be meaning. Doing what they are impelled to do. And I think that that's kind of where I'm at today. Uh, Thinking about the beautiful sorrow of saying goodbye and saying hello at the same time. Um, yeah, my love is so deep and rich with that boy, with that person. Yeah. And I'm just so impressed upon by that love. It will shape me forever, I think. So, what are you impressed upon? What is impressed upon you? Its shape that stays with your body, your lump of clay. Um, do you find that you get stuck in that shape, or do you find that you move through those different shapes in different ways? I'm just curious. I'd love to hear your positionality around that. Well, let's take just a few moments to welcome in just a bit of that quiet space with our body. So, finding our meditation posture is positioning our body in a way that facilitates breath and releases your hiding places. Get out of those hiding places. Opening the chest and opening the heart, bringing the shoulder blades just slightly together in the back, elongating that spine as much as you can. Either feet crossed in any number of positions that are comfortable for the knees, the hips, the butt, the body, or placing the feet gently to the floor, resting your palms on your lap. You can close your eyes, or you can leave your eyes open with a soft gaze, just a few feet in front of the body, and then we just go to the breath. Use the breath to bring your awareness into your body. Find your shape. What are the footprints that have been left upon you? What is the shape of your being today? What is the shape of your love? What is the shape of your pain? Thanks for being here, everyone. I just want to remind you that we are about a week away from exiting all of the meta services. So these things will probably still be archived there. I haven't decided whether or not to wipe everything from Meta or just close my account down, but please find us at Substack. Journey Home Meditation at substack.com, something like that. Substack is a fantastic format. I'm really appreciating it. It's slowing me down. Instead of quick snippets of opinions and arguments and all of the information junk food that I receive when I'm on social media, I find that this is tended to with a little more care and intention, and that's important to me in my life today. So check us out there. And That's all. Thank you. Adios.